On today's Bartender's Breakfast, we're going to tell you how to take your videos from this to pro. There's a lot of bartenders at the moment who are trying to create videos to help keep their bars relevant, to keep themselves relevant, and to try and help grow their brands. This is something that we talked about, I think, during the first week of what was going on, and that this is the perfect time to be doing this sort of thing. Now, if you've been watching, if you watch a lot of YouTube and stuff, you will see that even the big talk show hosts are now having to make videos at home. They're all trying to, you know, Jimmy Kimmel, Colbert, James Corden, Seth Meyers, all of these guys are now having to produce their own videos at home because they're socially distanced. They're not allowed to have the big studio setups with all the camera people and all the audience and all of their production guys there. So they're all having to produce stuff at home, and to be completely honest, it looks even more janky than this in many cases. This is a video using the front-facing camera on my iPhone. It's a 10S standard, and this is using the internal microphones and everything else. Now, this is in a little room in the back of my house. I haven't got any special lighting on. I will actually show you really quickly around what the space is that I use to film. So it is small. That is the back wall of the room, so it's literally about 2 doors wide. This wall is wallpapered with wine case wallpaper, a couple of little shelves attached to it, a couple of boxes attached up there, and then you've got a bit of simple syrup, you've got some of my old trainers, you've got a little shelf that goes above the door. This is the door, that's my pair of jeans for some reason. And then down this way you get basically to the end of my house, old TV that I'm trying to fix, boiler, and then on this side you can see this is my Mac, more shelves, and the only thing that's really kind of specific here is a couple of lights up there that are attached to the walls. I've got a couple of acoustic panels to try and reduce the echo in here because it was quite echoey, and then the other thing would be my microphone over here. So those are the only things that I have that are specific to making videos. Everything else, I have got a camera that I use, which is a Lumix G7. That we're not going to even touch during this. We're going to do everything with iPhones today because I want to show you what you can do with what you already have. So the first thing that you can do to make your videos look better is you can get some natural light on the situation. Now, I've got the sun right in my eyes here, so this is not the best example. However, find yourself a window with the sun coming through it, sit yourself in front of it. If you want to diffuse that light and make things a little bit softer, so you've not got the sun right in your eyes and you've not got really bright spots and really dark spots, would be to, if you've got blinds, put the blinds across, especially if they're like white vertical blinds or something like that, that will let the light come through but sort of soften it. That will be a really good way. Or if you've got net curtains or anything like that, or if not, you could actually just get a piece of like a white bed sheet, put that across the window. That will basically make you a huge sun-powered softbox. So I've now just switched so that I'm not in the direct sunlight, but I've still got the light coming in. It's bouncing off the walls in the room, and it feels a little bit better to me. As long as you've got plenty of light coming into the camera, you're doing pretty well. The other thing that I've switched is I've changed from using the front-facing camera, so I could see the screen, to using the rear-facing camera on the iPhone. Now, the rear-facing camera is always far, far better quality on pretty much every phone out there. I think there might be a couple of exceptions with Android phones, but in the vast majority of situations, the main camera that you would take your camera-style pictures with, rather than your selfie camera, will always give you better results. The downside is you can't see what you're looking at. The next thing to find yourself, if you want to invest very tiny amounts of money in this, is get yourself a little tiny tripod. This one's literally from Poundland. It basically has the same attachment on the top as a selfie stick, and it is perfect because it will grab any mobile phone that you might have. And if you want to use it for a regular camera, you can literally just unscrew that and you've got a normal tripod mount on the top. These things cost £1. You can get them for a couple of quid online because obviously they've got to ship them to you. Make sure your lens is clean. That's going to make a massive difference as well to your videos. I use a couple of apps that are other than the standard camera app. So the first one would be right here, which is Filmic Pro. That basically gives you access to a whole bunch of advanced controls. So if you are used to using DSLR cameras or anything a little bit more advanced than an iPhone, you can use this. You can lock the focus in place quite easily. You can also lock your zoom. You can lock your exposure. You can also have focus pulls in this. You can add on some extra packs to it, which will give you access to things like flat log profiles. So if you are really into color grading and stuff like that, you can use that. That's really helpful. The other thing with this is that there is a remote function, so you can get a remote app for it, which you can use on another iOS device or another tablet, phone, whatever, and that will let you basically use this camera on your phone and see it on a monitor on a second screen. That second screen can work as a remote for it. That makes it much easier to use the better camera on your phone. It also has another app, so if you were, for example, going to be doing some interview stuff, you can actually set up your phone and it can record from your front and your reverse cameras at the same time. So you, as the interviewer, can record on one camera and you can have your interviewee on the other camera, and it'll basically record everything in one go for you. Other than that, it's kind of a case of keep going. Tomorrow we're going to talk about how we edit stuff. Just to let you know, though, this entire episode is going to have been edited on my phone. I'm not using a computer for this. I'm going to use some software. I'm going to use an app on my phone, which is really useful for doing that sort of thing. But there is free stuff that you can use on your phone as well. There's free stuff that we'll talk about for computers as well. And I guess that's it for this show. I don't know if the podcast version is going to go out live at the same time as everything else. This is also going to be a kind of visual show, because obviously we're talking about cameras and stuff. So if you are listening to the audio version of this, hit us up, bartenderhq.com/YouTube. It will be, at the time of publishing, the first video that you see. Until next time, guys, that's it for this Bartender's Breakfast. See you tomorrow.